Good evening. You're watching the news tonight, your daily roundup of all that has happened across India and the world. I'm Ishan Russell, and these are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasizes the need to encourage organic farming, wants states to ensure 50% of farmers enroll in the new crop insurance scheme. BJP confident of continuing ruling coalition in Jammu and Kashmir. PDP keeps cards closed after authorizing party chief Mehbooba Mufti to decide on the alliance. Exports shrink for a 13th month in a row. Volatile currency, sluggish global demand combined with domestic infrastructure problems to hamper manufacturers. Union Minister Bandaru Dattatreya booked under the SC/ST Act after Dalit student commits suicide in Hyderabad. Government sends two-member fact-finding team to investigate. And a day after global economic sanctions are removed on Iran after a deal over its nuclear program, US imposes fresh curbs for its ballistic missile program. The top story this evening, Prime Minister Narendra Modi called upon states to ensure that 50% of their farmers were enrolled in the new crop insurance scheme. Modi was addressing a seminar on the national agriculture policy in Sikkim. The Prime Minister is on a two-day visit to the Northeast, emphasizing organic farming as a must. Modi said states should first try to make one district or one village organic, which was a challenging task. He also said his government was looking to link the Swachh Bharat mission with agriculture by promoting production of organic fertilizers from compost. He added that farmers should stop wastage of land by dividing it into small units and instead be encouraged to install solar panels along farmlands.
By the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi.
सिक्किम एक उदाहरण है। उदाहरण इस अर्थ में है कि जब यहां पर 2003 में विचार रखा गया होगा जैविक खेती का, तो क्या विरोध नहीं हुआ होगा? क्या इस रास्ते को छोड़ करके फिर एक बार पुराने रास्ते पर लौटने की इच्छा भी हुई होगी? आर्थिक संकट भी झेलने पड़े होंगे, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी सिक्किम के उन लाखों किसानों को मैं नमन करता हूं कि उन्होंने अपनी राह छोड़ी नहीं।
The suspense over government formation in Jammu and Kashmir continues. A day after PDP legislators formally authorized their party president Mehbooba Mufti to take a final call on the matter. Meanwhile, the BJP has expressed hope that their alliance with the PDP will continue.
मुफ्ती साहब की वफात के बाद जो सूरत हाल पैदा हो गई है रियासत में और हमारी पार्टी में, उसके ताल्लुक से कोई 4 घंटे हमारी गुफ्तगू हो गई, 5 घंटे, और सब लीडर्स ने अपना अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दे दिया कि किस तरह से मुफ्ती साहब के विजन को आगे लिया जाए।
Positive signals coming from the PDP over forming a government in alliance with the BJP in Jammu and Kashmir. The party held 5-hour marathon meeting on Sunday at the residence of party chief Mehbooba Mufti. The party said it has not set any conditions for government formation with the BJP and praised NDA's effort in fostering better relations with Pakistan despite the Pathankot terror attack. However, it did not give any deadline for government formation. After the meet, the BJP expressed hope that the coalition will continue.
जो हमारा एजेंडा ऑफ अलायंस है वो हमारे लिए एक मुकद्दस दस्तावेज है। इट्स अ सेक्रेट डॉक्यूमेंट फॉर अस, और उसमें मुफ्ती साहब के होते हुए बहुत सारी प्रोग्रेस हो गई है, लेकिन आगे क्या करना है उसके लिए पार्टी ने पार्टी की सदर महबूबा मुफ्ती को ऑथराइज किया है कि वो जो भी इसमें डिसीजन लेना चाहें उसको उनको इख्तियार।
पीडीपी ने कल एक मीटिंग करके सरकार बनाने के विषय में उनका विचार उन्होंने उजागर किया है। अच्छी बात है कि उन्होंने अपना विचार ये कहा कि जो मुफ्ती साहब बीजेपी के साथ मिलकर जो सरकार बनाए थे उसी व्यवस्था को आगे जारी रखने के पक्ष में वो लोग है।
Meanwhile, National Conference patron Farooq Abdullah on Sunday called for dissolution of the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly and holding of fresh elections if the PDP and BJP fail to form a government. He also backtracked on his statement a day earlier that his National Conference was ready to discuss government formation if the BJP approached it.
मैंने कहा कि हुकूमत बनानी चाहिए पीडीपी को और बीजेपी को, क्योंकि इनको मैंडेट है, ये बनाए। जहाँ तक दूसरा सवाल उन्होंने किया, मैंने उसे कहा कि साहब कोई भी चीज़ जो है उस पर गौर कर सकती है वर्किंग कमेटी, कोई फैसला हम इस बार पे नहीं कर सकते, मगर हमारे पास मैंडेट नहीं है लोगों का।
There was uncertainty over the continuation of PDP-BJP alliance in Jammu and Kashmir after the death of Chief Minister Mufti Muhammad Saeed on the 7th of January. Presently, the state is under governor's rule. In the 87-member assembly, the PDP has 27 MLAs while the BJP has 25. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In a tragic incident, one of the 5 Dalit scholars expelled by the University of Hyderabad has committed suicide on Sunday by hanging himself at the hostel. The university has ordered a probe into the matter, while an FIR has been filed against Union Minister Bandaru Dattatreya alleging abetment to suicide. The centre is also sending a 2-member team to get to the bottom of the case.
Tension on the campus at University of Hyderabad, where a student committed suicide in the boys' hostel on Sunday. Dalit research student Rohit Vemula was expelled 12 days ago along with 4 other students for allegedly attacking another group of students.
I need an explanation from BC and registrar. I've been here from 8:30, so till now it is 4 hours. So even till now VC didn't come here and he didn't give any explanation. I need an immediate explanation and I need him right now. So I need to take the body for the post-mortem.
Unconfirmed reports stated that cases of abetment to suicide were booked against a union minister and 3 others.
उसी रिप्रेजेंटेशन को मैंने मिनिस्ट्री को फॉरवर्ड किया, उन्होंने क्या कार्रवाई किया मुझे पता नहीं, लेकिन जो संगठन हुआ है उससे हमको कोई बीजेपी को या हमको किसी को कुछ वास्ता नहीं है, कुछ संबंध नहीं है।
I just wanted to throw light on a letter that the Central Union Minister, Mr. Dattatreya, had written to the HRD Minister, Smriti Irani ji. This is a fight between ABVP and ASA, Ambedkar Students Association, and unfortunate that central ministers are involving and siding a student union which supports their party organization.
The incident had echoes in New Delhi as well. Students held a protest outside the HRD ministry where police used water cannons on the demonstrators.
This government has pressurized the university to take action on Dalit students. This is gross injustice and we demand that the VC should be sacked, the Bandaru Dattatreya minister should be removed and the HRD ministry and the government should give answer on this matter.
Friends said 28-year-old Vemula came from a poor background. He held a scholarship under the University Grants Commission's Junior Research Fellowship program. His suicide note reportedly mentions his dreams of becoming a writer and scientist. It also states his frustrations and the problems on the campus. Vemula alleged that he had not received his fellowship money for several months. Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha Television.
The Sunday's ink attack on Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal sparked a war of words today, with the Aam Aadmi Party blaming the BJP and the Delhi police for the shocking incident. Bhavna Arora, the woman who threw the ink on Kejriwal, has been arrested and a case has been registered against her.
The ink attack incident on Sunday blowing up into a war of words between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP. AAP government termed the incident as part of BJP conspiracy. With just few days left to his retirement, the Delhi Police Commissioner B.S. Basi also came under fire from the AAP that called a major security lapse. BJP's Shazia Ilmi demanded an apology from AAP leaders.
अगर जनता के बीच फंक्शन में आके कोई व्यक्ति इंक फेंक रहा है और पुलिस हाथ पे हाथ रखे हुए बैठी हुई है, वहाँ एक कंपनी हो, 2 कंपनी हो, उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता। एक भी सिपाही अगर खड़ा है और वो वहाँ उसको रोक नहीं रहा है बल्कि होने दे रहा है, और उसके बाद जो व्यक्ति ने इंक फेंक के जा रहा है वो बाहर घूम रहा है आराम से मीडिया में बाइट देते हुए और पुलिस कोई एक्शन नहीं ले रही है, तो क्यों ना माना जाए कि पुलिस की मिलीभगत थी इसमें।
मैं स्याही फेंकने की घटना को तो उचित नहीं मानता, मैं उसकी निंदा करता हूँ, लेकिन मुझे भी ऐसा लगता है कि ये एक राजनीतिक स्टंट हो सकता है, क्योंकि अक्सर देखा गया है जब कहीं कोई इलेक्शन होने वाला होता है तो अरविंद केजरीवाल जी और आम आदमी पार्टी कुछ ऐसी घटना करती है जिसमें उन्हीं के लोग इन्वॉल्व होते हैं और उससे वो पब्लिक की सिंपैथी बटोरने की कोशिश करते हैं.
Bhavna Arora, the woman who threw ink at Kejriwal, has been arrested. She faces a case. Police claim that she belongs to the Aam Aadmi Sena, a splinter group of Aam Aadmi Party formed by party rebels. Bhavna claimed there was a CNG scam behind the oddeven scheme.
दो ग्राउंड थे, एक तो कि भी इसके बिहाइंड कोई षड्यंत्र है या ये इंडिविजुअल एक्ट है और इसकी बैकग्राउंड क्या है, इसके एंटीसीडेंट्स क्या हैं कि उसके वो जानने के लिए जरूरी था.
On Sunday, Bhavna Arora threw ink at Arvind Kejriwal at a public rally held to celebrate the success of oddeven scheme. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Delhi could see the return of the odd-even traffic experiment, but this time with precautions and after removing bottlenecks. After a review meeting today, the AAP government said experts and government departments feel that the scheme is worth reviving. But it was felt that the scheme could lead to more people buying 2 cars. Another problem that was flagged was about parents who need to ferry children to school themselves. For the 14-day-long experiment that ended on Friday, schools were made to shut down. Delhi Transport Minister Gopal Rai said the scheme will be implemented only after a concrete strategy was finalized. Time now to take a look at what else is making news around the country and nationwide. The Delhi police today arrested a suspected Al-Qaeda operator from Mewat district of Haryana. 32-year-old Abdul Sami was produced before a court and remanded to custody till the 1st of February. Sami is allegedly a key operative of Al-Qaeda's module. The Supreme Court sought the centre's response on the status of welfare schemes like MG Narega, National Food Security Act and midday meal schemes in drought-hit states. The Apex Court also directed the states to give information on the centre for collection of data. The National Green Tribunal today reprimanded the centre and the Uttar Pradesh government over pollution in the River Ganga. The NGT said the slogans of the centre as well as the state government are contradictory to actions being taken. The Green panel asked the governments to look into the matter seriously. Time for us to take a short break. Lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
Iran set to open up to the world as most trade sanctions against it are lifted. For India and the global community, what does end of the sanctions regime in Iran mean? Watch the big picture at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Now, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj says India attaches top priority in maintaining ties with Israel. The minister, who is on a maiden visit to West Asia, also held several meetings with the top political leadership of in Israel in the capital, Tel Aviv.
Our President very fondly remembers his visit to Israel and especially his meeting with you. He has sent his regards.
Thank you.
And he has also repeated his invitation, which he had given to you here. So we are looking forward to your visit to India.
External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj striking a chord with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. With back-to-back meetings, Sushma had a busy schedule in Tel Aviv. In a joint statement with Netanyahu, she said India attached the highest importance to complete development of bilateral ties with Israel. Netanyahu said India and Israel together could do great things.
India attaches the highest importance to the full development of wide-ranging ties with Israel. Our bilateral cooperation has developed well in a number of areas over the past 2 decades, but the potential of our relations is much more.
Future belongs to those who innovate. Israel and India are at the cutting edge of so many areas of innovation. And by working together, we can do a lot more for our peoples and for the world.
Israeli President Reuven Rivlin emphasized working towards free trade agreement with India. He also stressed cooperation in fields like security, cyber, technology, medicine, agriculture and water systems.
There is much we can do all together. It is important that we work to open the free trade agreement between Israel and India. There can be a better way and no better way to celebrate 25 years of our relations, which will be marked next year.
Sushma is also scheduled to meet the Indian diaspora in Israel. Since the Modi government came to power in May 2014, India-Israel ties have been in overdrive, with two signing a series of defense and technology deals that have sealed the political relationship. Her visit assumes significance in view of the possible visit by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to India later this year. It is also a build-up to the much-awaited trip of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Israel soon. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And we're joined by Sanjay Kapoor, editor of Hard News, to help us understand, Sanjay, as far as India and Israel are now concerned, as our story was also saying that ever since the India government came to power, the ties have been on an upswing. But in terms of real deliverables, in terms of real action on the ground, what are we likely to see?
Yeah, in the last, since the time Mr. Modi came to power, who's been described by Mr. Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, as his very good friend, and they've all said that, sky is the limit when it comes to relationship between the two countries. I think there is a great amount of movement, at least the optics are suggestive of that. 3 months back, you had President Pranab Mukherjee going to Israel and also to Ramallah. That was a bad time because there was so much violence which was going on in a certain way. It kind of seemed as if the timing was very wrong. And now you have the foreign minister going there, and I think the optics are far better. And both sides have actually stated that they need to carry this momentum forward. And in the coming days, you might see Prime Minister Modi going to Tel Aviv, and similarly Netanyahu visiting India. Those kind of things will surely add a kind of zip to the ties between the two countries. And it has, in a certain way, become far more, you can say, diverse. India and Israel have, not just in defense, we have a very deep relationship when it comes to agriculture. A number of states in the country are taking advantage of Israeli technology. And similarly, we are cooperating in cybersecurity. There is a certain amount of Indian private sector investment in Tel Aviv. Tata has invested in an incubator about $10 million. Similarly, India and Israel are working together in Silicon Valley. So there are large areas of cooperation which are building up. But it hasn't attained the kind of critical mass that people were expecting, primarily because India is still rather solid in its, you can say, commitment when it comes to supporting the Arab world, primarily because of oil and gas consideration. We don't want to in any way hurt the sensibilities or sensitivities of the Arab world. And we do not want any kind of disruption to take place in our oil supplies. So it, in a certain way, chastens us. We do not want to go overboard. We want to take things along. That is why you have foreign minister visiting Ramallah in the Palestinian area, and going to Israel at the same time. Similarly, our president had done the same thing, so that balancing is now more visible. Earlier, we were seemingly loaded more towards Palestine, but now we are doing it together. So I don't think the Palestinians have so much of a problem now as it was earlier. So the strategy of this government is clearly more balanced, that they take everybody along. But it is causing certain misgivings in Indian, you can say, political class, which thinks that we have become too far tilted towards Israel. We have, walked out of any kind of resolution against Israel. So clearly, I mean, this government is backing Israel quite a bit.
All right, but in terms of, defense and security is one area you mentioned that we've always had a conventional, a pretty good relationship with Israel on that front. But in terms of actual sharing of technology, in terms of actual weapons purchases from Israel, which Israeli weapons are known across the world, anything on the cards on that front?
Yeah, I think we've tested Barak missile together. We are talking in terms of greater transfer of technology. And there is a growing engagement where it's taking place in defense sector, even in the area of homeland security. We are very conscious about getting the support, especially when it comes to airport security management. So there are a number of areas where we have been talking, where I think the strengths of Israel are pretty well known. But having said that, the going gets slow primarily because you have issues pertaining to how fast do you deal with Israel. If you go too fast, there is a domestic constituency which is not going to like it very much. Even now, if you look at it, I don't think the Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj really anticipated that the Iran sanctions would be lifted. and Iran would be back in the so-called international order. Iran doesn't recognize Israel, and India has very close ties with Iran, and the supplies of the crude is going to start galloping, coming over to India. So in a certain way, it's a very, very complex, dynamic world where you cannot, say that everything is going to remain the same. Things happen change so rapidly that when you are dealing with Iran, then you have to figure out how best to deal with Israel.
Right.
And Israel would be looking to India to somehow intervene in certain ways so that they can also take advantage of Iran coming into the international order. All these years we have been hearing Israel threatening to blow up the nuclear facilities of Iran. And now you have a situation where the United States of America has got Iranian back into the international order. So, India in a certain way has to find a space where it can also improve its leverage, it can improve its leveraging power when it comes to dealing with Israel, and Israel would be also conscious of that.
All right, a balancing act being played out by India over there in West Asia. Thanks very much, Sanjay, for joining us and helping us understand that a little better. Moving on now, India's merchandise exports are contracted for the 13th month in a row in December as global demand remains sluggish. Rising volatility in the currency markets also dampened Indian exports, although the blow has been softened by a slide in the country's oil import bill.
Exports fell for the 13th successive month in December as orders from the United States and Europe shrank and exporters grappled with the competitively weaker Chinese yuan. Outward shipments shrank 14.75% to $22.29 billion against $26.15 billion in December 2014. Gold imports also tripled, raising 179% to $3.8 billion in December, and trade deficit widened to $11.6 billion as against $9.17 billion in December 2014.
The basic custom duty on the raw material should be reduced. Then there is no competition. It is very difficult for the manufacturer. So these irritants should be removed.
Government has an uphill task to boost exports. Industry experts claim that domestic problems like electricity shortages continue to hamper manufacturers. Infrastructure issues like rail, road and port connectivity also not keeping up with demands of the day.
To drive the investment climate, we have to bring in investment in the infrastructure sector. The government is working towards investing there, and public expenditure in infra is going to increase. And we are seeing that started to happen. But along with that, we also need the private sector to come back. They have virtually gone away in the last couple of years. And for them to come back, the problems in the sector needs to be addressed so that they are able to revive and come back.
In November, the government announced a $400 million credit program to help subsidize exports in the coming months. Government has plans to increase India's total export to $900 billion by 2020 by diversifying India's export basket. The target looks too ambitious, given that the country's exports have been in the negative zone for over a year now. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Middle East talks crashed on Monday after international nuclear sanctions were lifted on Iran, and Tehran, that has the fourth largest oil reserves in the world, entered the oil war. Global oil prices fell below $28 a barrel. However, just 24 hours after lifting of sanctions, the US imposed new ones on 11 companies and individuals.
I am also heartened by the lifting of sanctions against Iran. I hope that the parties now move to fully carry out joint comprehensive plan of action in good faith.
United Nations joining Western powers in welcoming the removal of sanctions on Iran. However, the frenzy was short-lived. Fresh sanctions were imposed on Iranian companies and individuals over ballistic missile test in October. That test was in defiance of a United Nations ban. Iran says the new sanctions have no legal or moral legitimacy. The development casts a shadow over the new, much-hyped bonhomie between the US and Iran.
آنچه می‌خواهیم حل و فصل مسائل منطقه از طریق منطق هست، اما در این حال رفتار غیر دیپلماتیک، رفتار ناصحی مردم ما، دولت ما نخواهد پذیرفت.
The US move came just a day after global economic sanctions on Iran were lifted in line with a deal on its nuclear program. 4 American Iranians in Iran and 7 Iranians in the United States were also freed in a prisoner swap deal.
The real concern is whether the United States will be committed, because already we see that the United States the Treasury had moved a couple of weeks ago to expand the sanctions, and that, from the Iranian perspective, was unacceptable.
Meanwhile, the lifting of sanctions had a profound impact on global markets. Oil prices fell below $28 a barrel, with fears that more oil will only feed the market glut. All 7 stock markets in the Gulf states tumbled as panic gripped traders. Iran hopes the latest development will help its economy, bring in foreign capital, and its oil production will return to pre-sanction levels, that is above 3 million barrels a day. India's plans in Iran are also likely to get a boost, which include the Chabahar port, an Indian oil petrochemical plant, and the proposed Iran-Pakistan-India gas pipeline. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Some sports now, and the BCCI Disciplinary Committee today imposed bans on cricketers Ajit Chandela and Hiken Shah in the IPL spot-fixing case. Rajasthan Royals player Chandela was given a life ban for his role in the IPL 2013 tournament. Mumbai cricketer Hiken Shah was handed a 5-year ban for breaching the board's anti-corruption code.
BCCI's Disciplinary Committee announcing its verdict in the Indian Premier League spot-fixing case. Rajasthan Royals off-spinner Ajit Chandela given a life ban, while Mumbai cricketer Hiken Shah was handed a 5-year ban for breaching the anti-corruption code.
क्रिकेट भी साफ सुथरी रहे, उसके लिए भी जो कठोर से कठोर निर्णय भी बीसीसीआई को करने पड़ेंगे, हमने पूर्व में भी किए हैं, चाहे वो प्रशासक हो या खिलाड़ी हो, और भविष्य के लिए भी कोई खिलाड़ी जिसने गलत काम पूर्व में किया होगा उसके ऊपर निर्णय लेने में बीसीसीआई कदम पीछे नहीं बल्कि आगे बढ़ाएगी और कड़े से कड़े निर्णय लेगी।
हमको ये विश्वास नहीं था कि बीसीसीआई इन पे बैन लगाएगा, क्योंकि जब न्यायपालिका ने इनको निर्दोष साबित हो चुके हैं, क्लीन चिट मिली है कोर्ट से, तो उसके बावजूद इनको बैन नहीं लगाना चाहिए था। ये प्राइवेट संस्था है, किसी की तो मान नहीं रहे, हिटलर शाही चला रहे हैं।
Chandela was handed a tougher punishment for violating the code on accepting bribes, fixing, underperforming, trying to induce a fellow player and betting. Shah was punished for making a corrupt approach to a fellow Mumbai player in the domestic circuit. Both had appeared in person before the committee on last December and were given time till 4th of January to file a written response.
I think there is a reason for difference. Chandela's role was more than Hiken Shah, so really, I think the ban is absolutely justified and the BCCI has taken the correct action.
The hearing of Pakistani umpire Asad Rauf, whose name also come up in an IPL bribery case, was also scheduled for Monday. Rauf did not appear in person but sent a letter stating that no fair inquiry has been conducted in his matter. The 3-member committee deferred a decision on him till 12th of February, giving him a final deadline of 9th of February to file his reply. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, that's the news tonight. Good night.